Can you win it?
But gotta be careful now.
I just think he's a little bit safe.
Southgate's father is a facilities manager at IBM. Clive, he's a very serious, respectable bloke, like Gareth himself. Clive had been given the chance to turn pro at Luton Town, but he saw football as an unstable profession, so he opted for IBM. Clive is an athlete on the side, he's a javelin thrower, and the mum, Barbara, is a hurdler, and so the parents meet at an athletics meet. And then they set up this very stable family, reliable, hardworking people with old-fashioned values, sticklers for politeness.
In the first half, and then look at the second half, how much they have dropped. Like Seth says, there's different ways to finish a game and to deal with the game, and I just think panic stations set in. Yeah. And if we want to go far in this tournament, we've got to be able to deal with the ball in these situations that can move us forward.
So it's got to be like, give me the ball under pressure. I think it's a great point. The best teams are the ones that take the ball under pressure in the most pressurised situations.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The important thing to control is the voice in their own head. Players.
I don't think the problem's out there on the pitch. I think it's here.
This is men dealing or not dealing with fear.
What is all this we're hearing on the top floor? Share your doubts, feelings.
Pressure getting to you already, is it?
I've toyed with creating content around the England team and Gareth Southgate because I think things get misconstrued and there's so much sensitive material around it, and obviously confidentiality and I understand all of that, but it'd be amiss of me not to highlight areas because it's high performance lived out. The highest stage, biggest global audience, and fear and human beings and all of this stuff. When the play Dear England was created, anybody who saw that at the theatre, and the role of Pippa Grange, Dr. Pippa Grange, who I think's got an incredible soul and an incredible handle on all this subject. Pivotal person behind the scenes during 2018 and onwards.
You're still there. This is men dealing or not dealing with fear.
Where I go to constantly is beyond the cultural piece, beyond the changing of the environment, all massive things and very important, of course, to create that culture and change things round. But we're talking about winning. And the word takes my breath away, it takes so much. I've won many times in my life, and I've miserably failed many times. And certainly in professional football industry, which I've lived in for 30 years, and the last decade working with so many head coaches and players, and even to the last 12 months working closely at Southampton. One thing I understand about winning and it's the integration, it's the wholeness, it's the integration of both light and dark, the soft heart and the strong back. The soft heart, I can go wherever you need to go. I've got 3 daughters, a beautiful wife. I cry to virtually every Disney film. The softness and sensitivity of my heart is it's been a great burden for me in my life, because in the same body the universe chose to put an absolute wild animal who hates conformity, who hates any control, who with stitches all over my head and 600 games as a paid assassin battering ram. As a footballer, I can go to alpha male as much as is required also. As dark as you want to go, dark is dark. Done some heinous things on the football pitch, broken jaws, broken bones on people deliberately. I've done some heinous things, and I believe karma caught up with me for that. Where I sit today at 46 years of age is an absolute handle on who I am. That's taken a lot to get there, and that is the integration of the dark shadow.
Someone who's peaceful because they're a coward isn't an improvement over a gang member who will fight. He's worse. He's just pathetic. His goodness is all weakness. The gang member at least will fight. Now, is the gang member good? Well, he's good compared to the coward. Is he good compared to what's good? No.
And they're walking with that every single day. Fear? Damn right. Do you want it? Damn right. Why would it be there? Because it's holding us accountable. It means we want something. The minute like Gareth said, I want to play for England.
Since I was a young kid, the only thing I wanted to do was play football for England.
As an 8-year-old kid, fear came into the room, and it started then. It started as an 8-year-old. I remember feeling overwhelming fear, because I don't want to fail. I can't fail. I'd rather die than fail.
I think looking back, it's you have a huge passion and desire, and I remember falling in love with football at 9, like we all do as guys who end up playing, and that brings a certain pressure on, because then now it's like, okay, I want to be a footballer, and you put that line in the sand, even if you don't talk about that, and then so I think every year you're facing that fear of failure, and you carry that.
8 years ago.
Yeah, I think so. Looking back, I think because you want something that badly, so if you don't achieve it, then that's sitting with you every day, and of course then you go into the pro game, and it's just there's no real space or place to feel, and be allowed to feel and talk about that.
When you say you didn't make it, you did make it. You made 500, but are you talking about the fact that you didn't make it?
Yeah, England, Premier League, for sure. That was the aim, and all the way up. By 18, I made my debut for Norwich City, at Wolves. Craig Bellamy was in my youth team, and the Bellas at the time, and Rob Green, the goalkeeper. So that was your yardstick. And every year then that you're not getting back to where these guys are, you're putting pressure on yourself. You're constant comparison.
And I mean that. I don't want anything to do with anything unless I can get there. The pain for me is I by 17, 18, I was there on the cusp of it, in around the England youth teams and in the first team at Norwich City, scored in my debut at Wolves. It's there, you're there. No idea how to manage that pressure. And when you hear about pressure, and Gareth talked about there, the pressure, and it's other things around us. It's deeper than this, Gareth, and this is the intensity that we need to go to. Intensity, intensus Latin, depth of feeling. Unless we go to the depth of the feeling, you won't get the intensity on the pitch. And as Micah Richards says here, it's the intensity that kills us. We drop. Why do we drop? Because we're not staying intense right to the end, right to our last breath on this planet. We're confronting everything all of the time. Constant confrontation of us, of what we feel, stepping into it, depth of feeling. So pressure means to be burdened by. If you look at this whiteboard here, this was in a classroom with a linebacker at college in America, big, powerful young man who cried with me for about 15 minutes. It felt like an hour, tears, sobbing. And eventually he got the words out, pressure. Good. And I've done this thing the last few years, Googling words, because we all use words and most people haven't got a clue what they're talking about. Pressure means, in the Latin translation, to be burdened by. So I changed the word to, what are you burdened by, sir? And I wrote my burdens. Scared of dying before my kids. I've got to be a stand-up father. I've got to be a stand-up husband. I've got to balance my insatiable drive to grow my businesses and also balance it as a husband and father. I'm scared about my kids dying before me. I'm scared about money. So I wrote down the burdens I carry. His tears stopped. He started to share his burdens. I came across a process: vulnerability, acceptance into sweat and courage. 1, 2, 3. The vulnerability is absolutely key. This is what we feel, and now we have to step into acceptance. It's a spiritual act at that moment. It's a spiritual act. There's the famous prayer: universe, grant me the serenity, the peace of mind, the calm lake, to accept the things I cannot change. People can't change them. Places can't change them. Things can't change them. I only have the ability to change myself, to be the very best version. So as we start to break England down, it's a lack of intensity, but it's from the leader. And it's the depth of feeling we have to go back into. And trust me, guys, I've led over 200 leaders now. My education, globally, leaders and coaches, I've delivered it with the PFA over the last year as a former player and member myself, 35 current and ex-players. You only have to look at the answers of the questions. It's all in there. There is a book that we will create based on the answers that I have taken hundreds of football leaders and coaches and players through. The evidence is all in there. There is not an intense enough unpacking of the truth inside themselves, so they then can't get the authentic truth and the intensity on the pitch. It's a deep subject, and tactics don't come anywhere near it. Intensity, depth of feeling. And listening to Gareth, there is still no handle on the truth of what this will take as a performance. What does it take to perform? It's such a deep subject.